Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'd like to just pick up right where we're at, actually. Mr. Schroeder, Mr. Millikan, you both refer to an ethical obligation with your work. Can you explain to me and to those that aren't doing that work, what do you mean by that? Is there a code of conduct, a code of ethics that you have to abide by for your license? Mr. Schroeder?
To do the, an estimate that is true to, what is honest and true. My evaluation to be honest and true. That's what I commit to do.
Yeah. Mr. Millikan?
Yes, sir. It's our ethical obligation is to take the damage that we identify, apply it to the policy, and indemnify the insured for the full value of what we have found to be damaged.
And so with that ethical obligation, you're now coming across people that you're engaged with in the insurance companies that are telling you to change your estimate. Can you give a little bit more detail? Who is it that you're interacting with? Who are the people? What are their credentials in terms of being able to tell you or assess whether or not they think you're right or wrong? Mr. Millikan?
So there's a team of reviewers, and I don't have access or know their experience or background. Their label, I believe, is a vendor oversight team or team member or training member, but I think I kind of got sidetracked on your question.
No worries. But it sounds like they're not necessarily abiding by that same or have that same obligation when it comes to ethics in terms of the code of conduct. They're not adjusters in the same way that you are?
That's right. Yes, sir. So there's been many times whenever I, as an adjuster, and I'm an experienced adjuster. I'm not saying I'm the best adjuster in the world, but there's been many times where I went out to losses and inspected and identified with my own eyes hail damage, for example, on roofs, and then submitted my findings to this new process of the reviewers. And the reviewer tell me that what I'm seeing is not hail damage. Well, I was there. I seen the hail damage to the siding. I seen the hail damage throughout the neighborhood. I saw the hail damage to the roof. They reject my estimate and tell me they're not going to approve it. So
but you're not necessarily certain what expertise they have to be able to make that assessment, given that you were the one that was on the ground.
I can't imagine they have any more expertise than I do. No, sir.
Yeah. When you're being told, Mr. Schroeder, you were talking about how they were telling you it's taking too long, and that's why you were removed from this particular case. But correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like if they remove you, they'd have to basically start from scratch all over again. Isn't that right? Wouldn't that seem to take a little bit more time too?
Yeah, that's correct, and that's exactly what happens. I actually had contacted Mrs. McGall just to see, out of my own curiosity, and to check in a month after I had been removed, and she had not received an estimate yet for those repairs. So I don't think that was, accurate in why I was removed from the case.
And in fact, it's not just about the work that affects with you, Mr. Schroeder, but Ms. McGall. I keep hearing from people that feel like these delays are intentional, that it's meant to try to discourage the consumers, the policyholders from continuing on. Did you feel that way with how you were treated and just how the lack of response and some of the delays were?
Yes, absolutely.
Mr. Vertel, you were also talking about just significant delays and lack of communication. Did you feel at times that this was intentional?
Absolutely. I feel it's a battle of attrition at this point.
Mr. Millikan, kind of back to you. When you're being told to change and adjust, do you feel pressure or did you feel fear that if you don't make changes that maybe you won't get future work from that insurance company before?
Yes, sir. I do have that fear. I've had that fear, but I'm also a pretty stubborn person, so it's difficult for me to tell someone something that's not true. So I've battled that quite extensively.
Mr. Schroeder, it seemed like you were kind of nodding your head as well. Do you feel that there have been times where you felt fear that, hey, look, if I don't make these adjustments, or, you might be taken off that case or prevented or, not given additional work by that company in the future?
Yeah, I certainly feel that way, and I think that's happened on this last deployment. I had multiple claims that were at the end pulled, and reassigned due to an explanation that to me just it didn't make sense, and it was coincidental with the timing of me having disagreements with the virtual examiner that is just looking at a photo when I was the only one of the two of us actually present
They are
during the
seeing with your own
inspection.
eyes.
There's a difference in a photo compared, it's only, even a great photo is just a photo. When you're there, you not only get a better look, but you can feel, you have a better perception of what's going on. And, those disagreements, to me, it didn't make sense, and it wasn't true. I disagreed and got pulled off a lot of those.
Thank you. Mr. Quinn, you're hearing all this. You hear all this constantly. You went through this experience yourself. You're asking, you're here in front of the U.S. Senate. You're asking for the federal government to be able to step in on something that, traditionally has been sort of state jurisdiction in terms of oversight. Why is it that you think the federal government needs to step in? What has been your experience engaging with the state level, and how has that not satisfied, the ability for policyholders to be able to get the kind of justice they deserve?
We have noticed a lack of action, Senator, on the state level against criminal fraud. I meet prosecutors and attorneys general all over America. I routinely ask them, have you ever prosecuted somebody from the carrier side for cheating a consumer? The answer is invariably no. We see literally no prosecutions on the state level of people from the carrier side who are committing fraud to cheat consumers. We feel there's an issue with regulatory capture. In some cases, it's a limited capacity, budget strains, personnel strains. But we do believe that the federal government should be stepping in and investigating and prosecuting cases where the American consumer is getting cheated by their insurance company.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. I yield back.